All right, guys, what is up? We are back again for a third week in a row. I feel like it's been a little while since I've done three in a row. I know it's been a little while since I've done two in a row, but I really feel like it's been a while since I've done three in a row. But, excuse me, we are back again. And, ready to get the live stream started. Other than that, talk about other things. This is not a gaming channel, but I do have Mega Man ready to go, just in case I need him. What's up, Jerry? If you are noticing my popped to my collar, I was a stroke judge today. We had our county swim meet this morning and last night. Stroke judge is kind of like a referee for swimming. And I was offered the opportunity to stroke judge at high school level, which is a paying position. I was like, shoot, yeah. I would like to make a couple dollars. I don't see why that would be a problem. Also, despite what the Olympics would have you believe, swimming is really a wintertime sport. It's not really a summertime sport. So there's that. So if I did it, I would definitely be getting some Christmas monies for the baby children. Before I get too good and started into it, I do have a Facebook page. It does look like this. I do not do anything with Facebook. This is the only way to direct message me, though. As you can see, last time I did anything was September 3rd of 2023. I don't really care for Facebook. It's just, it is what it is. And since I plugged the Facebook, let's go ahead and plugged the Instagram. Instagram looks like this. I post on this one fairly regularly, but I do not direct message on Instagram. I just don't really care for it. Mainly because I don't know how it works. So there's that. But I believe, it is what it is. Good times are had by all. Excuse me. So, in any case, what's everybody got going on? What do I think about the... excuse me. What do I think about the trans trying to get into women's swimming? They disqualified her. I have always been on the side of separating sports unless the sport calls for it. Today we had a legitimate category that was mixed relays, which was 2 girls, 2 boys. That I'm okay with. I am not okay with growing up as a boy, and then at 18, 19 years old deciding I want to be a girl now. And when you become a girl at that age, you are already grown. And chances are if you're an athlete, chances are you're over 6 foot as a male, whereas your female counterparts are probably 5'6" to 5'9". So you've already got a size advantage on them. And you can't take that away. You can't take the fact that you've already spent 18 years of testosterone. You can't. The human bodies are just built different. And so, yes, I believe that they should be their own category as well. I don't believe that they should be... I do not believe that born male athletes should be able to participate with female athletes. I don't believe so. I think that it's yeah, I do not believe in that. We had this was probably, we might have been in lockdown, I can't remember, or just come out of lockdown. There was a volleyball player. This was a couple years ago. Volleyball player, born male, playing on a female volleyball league in high school. The athlete in question was a senior. Come up, spiked the ball. It was a big spike. Hit a freshman in the face. Now, already the size difference between the two of them is already great enough, a 9th grader and a 12th grader. But add a 9th grade born female playing on a female team versus a born male playing on a female team, spiking the ball into the 9th grader and gave her a terrible concussion. That became a big deal. I do remember that happening. That was in volleyball. So I don't believe that should have happened at all. That was 100% uncalled for, and that was at the high school level. So you better bet that the parents of that 9th grader were very upset and pitching a huge fit. But yeah, what do they call it? The woke culture, I believe, is what the trans community is trying to get behind. It's terrible. Did I hear about Trump? Yes. I did hear about Trump. I actually saw it. I didn't see it. I'm not in Pennsylvania. By the way, I did see it. Like it flashed up on my phone. I'm assuming it was a news. I was mowing the yard. I was mowing, and my phone did a flash, and I saw it. I looked at the news report. It was a CNN video. I was like, dang, it's crazy. So let me give my opinion on this. I know that no one's really caring. Here's how I feel. One, I do not support Trump. I do not support Trump. I am not a Trump man. But if you're going to accuse me of something, do not accuse me of being a Trump man. Two, I am not going to try to shoot someone. Because what will happen is, if I try to shoot Trump and he survives, that is just going to make him look much greater. If I shoot Trump and he dies, that's going to tear the country apart even further, because all of those supporters will now be very angry and, nowhere to take their anger out, and it's going to further divide the country. This was a terrible thought on whoever's part. It's not. It was terrible on the group or individual's part, because it definitely, in either outcome, would not provide what they were after. There's no win in the scenario. If anything, if everything ends up being okay for Trump and things like that, it's just going to magnify him. He's just going to look better and better and better because he survived this attack. Yes, doing something like that is not okay. Definitely not. You don't just, it's not okay to shoot anybody, given outside of, what's the word I'm looking for? If they're trying to get you not self-preservation. I guess self-preservation. If self-preservation, yes, I support that. But just doing it while somebody's doing a speech, that's no, don't do that. Self-defense is the word I'm looking for. Self-defense. Self-defense. Yeah. And I know that so I'm in a group. We run a pool, and they were talking about selling a gun. And I was like, I support firearms. I do. I support firearms, but I do not want to raffle one off. And if we raffle one off and something goes wrong, ooh, a spectator died too. Ooh, that's terrible. But if we raffle off a gun in our group for our pool as a charity raffle, and something like this happens, I'm not gonna be cool with that. I'm not a gun store owner. I don't want to sell a gun. I'll buy them. I'm not gonna sell them. But for reasons like this, what if someone crazy ends up winning that raffle, and all they needed to get was the win the raffle? Now they're really gonna break crazy. But no, I did not hear that a spectator had died. The last time I had read or seen anything about it was right after it had happened. Because like I said, I was mowing, so I didn't actually get to see that. But I did see the initial shooting or reporting of the shooting. I didn't actually see the shooting. Man, that's terrible. I was thinking spectator died. In any case, I'm going to completely change the subject, which I don't mind. I'll talk about anything. But been thinking about doing a fourth wall. Fourth wall is where you sell merchandise on YouTube. Really been thinking about that in the last day or two. Really thinking about creating a store for that. Not sure if anybody would actually buy any of my merch, but definitely think about it. Definitely do want to give it a try. And you got my curiosity going. At least one dead, yeah. Audience member, gunman and audience member dead. Sorry, I had to. I had to Google it real quick just to double check. Not really double check, but just to see. Going back for my RN. So I always tell everybody I am going back for my RN. I've always said I will. The problem is every time I think I'm going to be able to do school again, something happens. It never fails. Something happens. This year, my daughter had knee surgery. That's taken a lot of time. I don't think I could give her the amount of time that she needs for physical therapy and doctor's appointments and things like that if I was still going to school. Maybe when the kids get a little older, maybe when my youngest is the age of my oldest now, I'll be able to go back. But I mean, you're talking 8 more years until I feel like I'll be able to go back. So it's gonna be a little while. Not to mention, been fighting with Medicaid for my middle child who's special needs, and they keep telling us that we make too much money, but at the same time, all of our money goes to medical bills, and so been fighting with them. Maybe honestly, and I'm not, just going to go ahead and accept it. Maybe it's not even in the cards for me to go back, and that's okay. I do know a doctor. He's He's a very good Southern narrator, very good Southern voice, very slow speaking, very intelligent individual. But he didn't become a doctor till he was in his 40s. So, maybe I do like him and just wait until everybody's sort of at a point where I can go back. But I don't know. I really don't want to go back either. Going back would probably be worth it. It would just take a little bit of time, and as old as I am now, because if I went to school right this second, I would be in my 40s when I graduate, and that's starting school right now. No prereqs, nothing. Going straight to school. I'd be in my 40s when I graduated. And the amount of time it will take for me to make up the lost money, would be, I just don't think it'd be worth it right now. Because we're already paycheck to paycheck. So, that would just put more strain on us. And, I'm too old right now, but too young due to money wise, I guess is what we'll say. So I'm in that middle ground right now. My kids are too young and I'm too old. Yeah. But yes, I'm still happy being an LPN. I really don't see anything wrong with it. It's paid my bills for 12 years now. So I'm not upset at it. We've been able to buy groceries. Been able to live paycheck to paycheck. Not bad. But no, I'm not that old. I'm not that old. But if I think about things hard enough, at the age my mother was at my age right now, if we were the same age, having children and everything, right now I would have a child going into their senior year. Because my mom was younger when she had me, and she was not quite 40 when I graduated. The more money you make, the more you spend. Anyways, I will 100% agree. The more money you make, the more you spend. Yes, 100% agree. Oh, drinking Sundrop, by the way. Two of the greatest things in the world were created in Gastonia, North Carolina. Me and Sundrop. Drinking. I don't know if it's, I don't think it's across the country. I don't think it goes across the country, but this is what I'm drinking. The old Sundrop. I'm drinking the red Sundrop. Man, I love me some Sundrop. It is phenomenal. Sundrop is amazing. Like I said, I don't think it's across the country. I think it's more of a regional thing. Sundrop. Created in Gastonia, North Carolina, like your boy. Amazing. Never heard of it. I live close to Gastonia, enrolled in Carolina College of Health Science. Oh, in Concord. Yeah, I went there. I did orientation, but I didn't get in. Carolina College of Science. I did actually. For my CNA, trying to get into Cabarrus for my ADN. Looking forward to this journey. I went to RCCC. I graduated RCCC, actually. Jacob. Yeah, I graduated from RCCC so when I went to RCCC, nursing school was in Cloverfield Plaza, which is actually like a strip mall. The economy was bad, and it was a tiny little like storefront classroom. We eventually moved into the old Cannon Mill, and that's where it is now. Is the Cannon Mill. I was the inspiration to go through nursing. Nice, good job, good deal. Thank you. But you live close to Gatonia, so I'm. I don't claim to actually be from Gastonia. Because I'm really not. I'm actually I was well. My mother and her family are from a place called Iron Station, and so I spent all of my time in Iron Station. And so that's where I really claim is Iron Station. Clover, South Carolina. Yes, I know Clover. I know Clover well, actually. Believe it or not, I do know Clover. Do you know, since you're in Clover, there's a fireworks store and there's a gas station. The gas station is called Brad's. And the fireworks store, I think it's called Clover Fireworks. That's my uncle's. So, yes, I know Clover. We used to have a race shop behind it. Behind the gas station, actually. Mm-hmm. And there was I don't know if it's still there, but there was an A&W, not a K&W, but an A&W restaurant. Like the root beer. Yeah, I spent a lot of time down in Clover. I worked at the Food Line, and a lady said there was a guy trying to rip people off at the store. I wouldn't doubt it. Brad don't put up with that mess either. Brad will fight you. He don't care. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I remember the A&W. No one believes me. No one ever believes me that it was an A&W. Everybody's like, oh, no, it was a K&W. Like, no. I promise. It was an A&W. I ain't been to Clover in probably 15 years, if not longer. It's been a long time since I've been down in Clover. Yeah, I remember eating there, man. I liked their food. They actually had pretty good food. We used to go down there and buy fireworks all the time. Well, because Iron Station we were really close to the border of North and South Carolina, but Forest City was more of our South Carolina. But yeah, we'd go to Clover because we'd go through Gastonia, or go through South Point, go through South Point, or Gastonia, Belmont, one of them, and go to Clover or York. But yeah, I know all that. So now that you're in, are you in Clover and going to school in Concord? Because Dallas had nursing, or they used to. Yes, that's a little bit of a ride. I guess Dallas may not be any closer then. But more power to you, man. That's what's up. I'm definitely for it. Thing about Cabarrus is a lot of their stuff is right there at. It used to be called Northeast. I don't think it's called that anymore. And I know for a fact that you got to be there on time or they're going to be mad. They will be very upset. Because we actually we did our clinicals side by side with those guys a lot. I hope I ain't got a child running up here. And doesn't seem like it. But it's a very good school. College of Health Sciences. They have a 4-year program, I believe, that you can do in 3, or they used to. They used to have all that stuff. Now, I live in Clover, but enrolled there. Gaston College has nursing, which was enrolled originally, but there's a lot more stuff like the TEAS test and prereqs just to maybe qualify. Yes, I do remember all of that. Now, I didn't go to Gaston. I did actually go to Gaston. I went to Gaston. So I worked at McKinney. If you remember McKinney, I worked at McKinney and was enrolled in Gaston when I worked at McKinney, and then lost my job in 2008 when McKinney's now a Walgreens now, I believe. But I was at Gaston College at that time, enrolled in automotive classes. Well, that's the cat. Okay. But yes, I had to do all of the prereqs and the T's when I was at RCCC. I did have to do all that, but I guess you don't have to do that. So it's sort of like a ECPI setup. I've really got to sort of take myself back because I went to school I started school in 2008. So it was a lot different. I think it was a lot different back then because there was no online, none of that. It doesn't even seem like it was that long ago. But yeah, it's a lot has changed. And also North and South Carolina are compact states. So I'm not sure if you understand what a compact state is, but basically if you get a license in North Carolina, you can use it in South Carolina or any other compact state, which at last count that I remember, there were 37 compact states. Let's see how many compact states we got now. Let's see what we got as far as compact states. So these are all compact states. The light purple, or whatever this color is, sort of in the middle of the country. Washington, Idaho, Texas. Texas is now compact. Okay. North, South Carolina, Virginia. All of these are compact states. So New York, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Illinois, Minnesota, Alaska, Hawaii. Those are not compact states. California, Nevada, Oregon, not compact. So basically what that means is if you get a license in North Carolina or South Carolina, your license is good in any of those compact states. So it's definitely a benefit to being in a compact state. If I get into Cabarrus, I would potentially start ADN in January, whereas Gaston wouldn't be until this time next year. Hadn't heard about the compact states. That's very helpful. Well, you are welcome. Yeah, ECPI sort of runs the same as what you're describing, and they're in Greensboro, which would definitely not be feasible for you. I mean, that's a long ride. And they're expensive. There's another college in Charlotte. I think it's called Queens College of Nursing. And they run sort of like that. Let me see if that is the name of it. But I really do think it's Queen's College of Nursing. Make sure it's in Charlotte before I... Queen's University of Nursing. But it's located on King's College Street. Okay, whatever. But they sort of run that same way. I almost did ECPI. There's a campus in there is a campus in Charlotte. But the cost and bad reviews made me steer clear. So the thing about ECPI, so at the end of nursing school, you take an NCLEX. RCCC, where I graduated from, has a 100% NCLEX pass rate. Most schools are 97, 99% pass rate. So almost everybody passes the NCLEX. ECPI, when I looked, had like a 87% pass rate NCLEX. So that's not very good. Let's see what it is now. Currently 87. It's still 87 is what they're saying. 84. I see it right here. 84%. Okay, so so ECPI has a 84% pass rate. So that means that 16% of people who graduate ECPI don't actually get to become nurses because they don't pass the NCLEX. So there is that, and it is expensive, yes. But I've worked with plenty of ECPI nurse graduates who've been phenomenal. So I mean, I personally don't have anything bad to say about the school because I didn't go there, and I know from working with ECPI grad nurses that they do just fine. So I'm not sure if they just pass people through or what, because when I graduated nursing school, 9 of us graduated out of 30. There were 30 of us in our original group. 9 of us graduated. So I don't know if ECPI just doesn't fail people or what. But you'll see that a lot of nursing school classes, you'll start with a lot more than what you finish with. It's definitely an experience. They used to say things like, nursing school's fun. It's like riding a bike, except you're on fire, and the bike's on fire, and everything else is on fire. So, it's fun. You'll love it. You'll learn so much. You will learn a lot. You'll learn a tremendous amount, but at the same time, it's probably the hardest thing that you'll ever do as far as school goes. And then when you graduate, you still gotta stinking actually work. So that sucks too. Excuse me. And I can tell you that if you're getting into nursing for the money, it's not as profitable as it used to be. There used to be a time, especially like when I very first got into nursing, there was a time when like the regular everybody else salary was here and nursing was like here. But it's like right after COVID ended, everybody else sort of caught up to nursing, and the salary of nursing isn't going to be as substantial as really a lot of other career paths that you can go. Whereas it used to be a lot more profitable. What's happened is COVID ended, and a lot of the travel nurses that were making killer money. I mean, the travel nursing was making killer money. Congress put a stinking cap on them. And then when they really should have been going after the companies, they went after the travel nurses. And it's really sort of slowed down raises. And it's sort of capped us. But, you know, there's still money in it, but you're not going to be rich. You're definitely not going to be a rich person by any means at all. Like I said, COVID was really what sort of dumped it down. And that sucked. But, you know, it is what it is. Because I want to say I doubled my salary nursing within, let's say, 8 years. And then for the last, 2 years, I've just sort of barely started to pick up, you know. Not too much, not too quick. Hey, came back to your vid on how you wired your horn. Yes. So I can do it. My car can pass inspection. That's awesome, JD. Yeah, my Expedition had to pass inspection. So, yeah, I definitely wired that horn up and drilled the button into the dash, so you just hit it and it went off. Everybody loved that thing. Unfortunately, the Expedition died and the horn went with it. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, I thought about working up to nurse practitioner. Yes, I know that's a lot of work though, but I'm still young. I would do it while you're still young. Go ahead and knock that out. The thing about doing nurse practitioner though is you could, if you buckle down really hard, you could do it in about 6 years. But you would have to really buckle down. But you could do it on paper. On paper, you can do it. But yes, that's pretty hard. But yeah, that's awesome, JD. I'm glad you was able to wire your horn up. But yeah, definitely get into it while you're still young. It's a lot harder when you get older. When you get older, it's nowhere near as much. It's not fun, but nowhere near as easy. Especially when you got kids, because you're like, oh, I could do all this, and then you're like, oh wait, I got a couple mouths to feed now. I have a quick disconnect wheel, so I don't have a horn anymore. I bought stuff to wire it up. Got to say, that's awesome. That is awesome. In the fender. That's what's up. In the fender. I'd put an Uga horn on that jugger. I got one on my golf cart. Man, them Uga horns is awesome. I think if I'm gonna do it again, I'm gonna change up the horn rather than have the generic horn. A lot of people do UNCC Charlotte. UNCC. Go back for stuff like that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with UNCC. Absolutely nothing wrong with UNCC. Good school. '98 Mustang. It's kind of a bummer. I had a 94. I had two 94s, actually. Same body style. One was a GT. Both of them were 5.0s, but one was a GT, one wasn't a GT. Both of them were 5-liter push rod. Mom had a 96. That's awesome. One of my 94s changed colors when you walked around it. It's called Atlantic Blue. It was not the what is that color? Crystal Metallic or whatever. It was not that one. It was the Atlantic Blue, but it changed colors when you walked around it. V6 plans to motor swap. The 3.8s are okay. You could always put one of the superchargers on it from a Thunderbird. It'll bolt right up. You gotta find one though. You gotta find a Thunderbird supercharger. Mine's green, but in the middle of wrapping it blue. Okay, I'm for it. It is. They like to pop head gaskets, those 3.8s. Just don't rev it to the moon. Or do rev it to the moon. And then scatter it. And then put something else in it. I'm for it. Just don't do a Coyote. Man, them things sound terrible. They sound like diarrhea in a long tunnel. They just... Man, I do not like a Coyote. I don't like the way they sound. They just... Ugh. They're probably impossible to work on. With the 4 cams in them. Just not a fan. Not a fan. But pushrod 5-liter, now you're talking. Love them. Or the 4.6. 4.6s are stinking bulletproof. Shoot, ain't got no music on tonight. Of course, I don't really want to call it music. It's like elevator music. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Did not realize. Well, there we go. So far, mine's been awesome. I did rev it to the moon once and blew a hose. That's it. I'd rather LS swap. Coyotes are expensive. I really want my mom's engine. She has a Yukon 6.2 LS3. Okay. You'd have to change a lot to go with an LS though. You'd have to change a lot to go with anything really. But yeah, okay. For some reason, and I don't know what it is. I think it's just I don't know. Maybe because I'm a trashy individual, but I put every vehicle that I own. I haven't done it to my wife's Highlander because she'd be very upset with me. On the chip. I put them on the chip. I was thinking put my Versa on the chip today. I put a new door handle on my Versa and was thinking as soon as I pulled it out, because it's 900 degrees out here, I was sitting under a tree. As soon as I moved it from the tree, I put it down on the mat and bounced it off the rev limiter several times. My neighbors was definitely checking it out. I have absolutely no problem putting a car on a chip. I'm for it. Man, yeah, I'm for it. Do it to everything. But, yeah, I could definitely see a 6.2 might be might fit. Maybe a Cleveland swap. Okay. Cleveland be all right. Good luck finding one, but it'll be all right. Or you could find something that's wrecked that has a good foundation and then put your body on that car. Love old car V8s. I believe the Cleveland will fit in the SN95 no problem. Anything will fit if you're a good fabricator. If you're a good enough fabricator, anything will fit. It's just how much cutting and welding you want to do. But the Cleveland might be all right. What was the other one? Cleveland and Windsor. Definitely not. Never did a motor swap. But hey, we'll make her fit. All right, I hear it. Yeah, let's do it. Make it fit. There are probably, if you could find, if you'd have a hard time, and I can't remember the years, but I think it was 98, 99, and 2000 V8 Explorers. They were GT40 5 liters. So they were, they had GT40 heads. Let's see what year. Explorer. What year were the GT40 Explorers? Um, 96 to 97 Explorers were the GT40 Explorers. So if you could find a 96, 97 GT40 Explorer, man, put that in there. Now you're talking. GT40 head, GT40 intake. They were rollers. They would scream, and they were stinking Explorers. Rowdy Explorers. That's what's up. I remember we would go to junkyards and try to find them when I was younger. Of course, that was, they were 4 or 5 year old cars at the time then. They weren't, I'm sure those are probably hard to find. They probably are hard to find. And when you find them, people probably know what they got now. They didn't know what they had back then. When I was in high school, when those cars were 4 or 5 years old. But yeah, that would be fun. Get you something that'll scream. I know a little bit of Ford. I never worked on Ford. I worked on Chevy, but I know a little bit of them. Not much. But you said carburetor. Carburetors are fun until you got to work on them, and then they're like, shoot, I wish I knew what the problem was. Like my 85 S10 out there, it's carbureted, and I was like, man, you got to take so much off to figure out what the stinking problem is. I want to go maybe because they're cheap everywhere and cheap. Maybe. But the carburetors, man, they're, unless you know exactly what the problem is, you're gonna be doing a lot of hunting, which is not fun. Wah wah wah. It's kind of a bummer. Carburetors also have a very hard time of, depending on how you tune them. If you tune it for like wide open throttle, you're gonna have a hard time in traffic. So there's that to worry about also. It's definitely gotten a lot easier with fuel injection. And fuel injection's gotten a lot easier for regular people to understand, especially with the tuners and stuff like that they've got. Because I've got an OBD2 scanner that I can plug into my truck, my S10, my 97. I can plug it into my truck and it'll tell me every single thing that's happening. It'll tell me how many times each plug's firing. It'll tell me how much fuel I'm burning. It'll tell me everything. And, I can figure out the issue that way. So it's definitely a lot easier with fuel injection. Probably not the initial setup, but it's definitely a lot easier with tuning and fixing and things like that. It is nice. It's very easy too. But I will say that a fuel pump is a lot easier to change on a carburetor than it is on a fuel injected car, because they're on the side of the block. But that's really about it. It is definitely a lot easier there. Let's see here. There we go. I hate fuel pump issues. It's the worst. I had to change one on a Lincoln Town Car. Fuel pump issues are no fun. I'm always really nervous when I do fuel pumps that something's going to spark. I'm always very nervous about that, because I really don't like getting exploded. I really sort of want to, keep all my everything. Under the diff. Ugh. Do you got to drop the tank, or can you go through the trunk? Dropping the tank's the worst. I've actually got a tank out of one of my S10s right now. Not for a fuel pump. It's got a leak in it, but it's out right now. Here currently. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I'm going to start getting ready to hit the bed, because I'm tired. Had a long day today. Sign in the chat. I won't sign in the chat. Well, couldn't drop it. Kind of had to go above the tank and under the car and pull it out. It was a difficult situation. Sounds like it was. Does not sound like it was fun. And I hope you didn't have one of them hateful snap rings that's thinking, you can't stinking get back in there. You can't get them things back in there on the regular. I can imagine fighting with a diff, getting that snap ring in there. Them things was difficult, as Bluey would say. You may not know who Bluey is, but actually Bingo says it, not Bluey. Ugh. Man, I hate them snap rings. They're difficult. Hateful. 30-degree weather at nighttime. That sucks. Yeah, I bet that is. We had one go bad in the expedition one time. And where it went bad at, we were in a city. It was my wife's car. She was in a city. It was actually the expedition with the horn. And that thing went bad. And that joker had like 280,000 miles on it. And we could not get up there to get the fuel pump switched. And I was so worried the city was going to fine us. I went on ahead and give it to Pull Apart. They gave me $300 for it. But like I said, that joker had like 290,000 miles on it. I thought this was a gaming channel. Don't worry. Mega Man's there. Don't worry. It's gaming. It's not gaming. What kind of mess is that? This ain't no gaming channel. But I got it going. If I need to fire it up, I can do it. Got the fighting robot, Mega Man. He's ready to party. It is what it is. $430,000 miles on a Tahoe. I guess she sold it to, totaled it. Man, that sucks. Yeah, when the fuel pump went out in that expedition, we couldn't figure out how to get it home. That was the worst part, was trying to figure out how to get it home. I knew I couldn't work on it where it was sitting. If we would have been closer with that expedition, I think we'd have kept it. But we were so worried we were going to get fined by the city and things like that we just went on ahead and sent it to Pull Apart. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I don't know if you can see in the horn video, but it actually had like it was an eBay special Harley Davidson front end on it. It was pretty cool. The front end was. It was pretty cool front end. But it was like a Farley special. It was definitely a fake Harley. But it looked good. I thought it did. It was really just because the bumper was the same. It was the front grille and front headlights. And that was really all they changed. So someone else had done it. I didn't do it. But it looked pretty cool. You could tell it was a Harley-ish front end. But yeah, it was that one was a solid truck too. Actually, I take that back. It was not a solid truck. It was from New York and had rust holes in it. and that was something else that I was concerned about putting money into it for. That sounds solid enough. It did the job. It did the job. I don't know if I'd pull a trailer with it. You're liable to, snap it. Snap it right in half. But, good thing you're in Texas. Rusting ain't an issue. I'm in North Carolina. We if we have a local vehicle, typically don't have any rust. But a lot of people from up north like to come down here for some reason and bring their vehicles with them. Now they'll stink and accumulate some rust too. Them up north vehicles when they come down. But in any case, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Kind of tired, ready to go to bed. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see everybody. I don't think we have anything next weekend, so hopefully we should be on next weekend. 4 in a row. That's what I'm talking about. Talk to everybody later. Thank you so much.